If you ever wanted to get a vague idea of how it was to be a pizza delivery driver, Pizza Rush is a quick way to experience it. Pizza Rush is a top-down driving game with time and resource management. It is a pretty small high scores based game that I admittedly never got too far in. The README file does give a little bit of a backstory as to why you are delivering pizzas, but it's not really needed. Basically, the player is tasked with delivering a single pizza to a specific area on the map and to a specific house or specialized building. The faster the player is with the delivery, the higher the tip will be. Once delivered, the player heads back to the pizzeria and grabs another pizza for delivery. Once a certain number of pizzas have been delivered, the game will move on to the next day. The resource management happens in the main game mode, as the player will be required to keep a close eye on the gas tank, which will deplete as they drive around town. There is only one gas station that players can fill up at, and the car can be filled up anytime the tank is under halfway. Otherwise, the game doesn't allow the car to be filled up. If the tank goes dry, then it is game over with the delivery driver stuck in the middle of nowhere, according to the end screen. The score is based on how much money the player acquires during the game run, so sometimes it might be better to do the final delivery with almost an empty tank than to fill up before ending the day, as the next day the vehicle starts with a full tank. Also, it is recommended that if the car needs gas, fill it up after a delivery and not while on a delivery, so that the player can maximize their tip, because as stated before, the tip is based on how fast the player can deliver. This is a game where repeat plays might help to memorize paths to make deliveries more efficient. Unfortunately, memorization will not get a player too far if they are not also prepared to get out of the way of other drivers. Because the game is set on a grid system, each time the delivery car enters a new zone, there is a chance of spawning a car, be it a police car or a regular citizen. Because of the randomness of the spawning, sometimes a car will be on the player's path as soon as they enter a screen. Even though there are 2 lanes painted on the road, there is only space for one vehicle on the road at a time. So if a player needs to get out of the way of a vehicle, they can either stop and back away, or try to dodge into a driveway or another lane. The car's speed can be increased or decreased by 15 miles per hour with each tap of the speed keys, and the top speed is 45 miles per hour. It can take a few seconds to slow down after hitting the brakes or the reverse key, so sometimes it might be best to turn in toward the grass for an immediate slowdown to 0 miles per hour. Issues can arise if panic sets in while trying to slow down and turn around or reverse, as I'll often just get hit in an accident causing a game over. Car crashes tend to be my main reason for getting a game over, especially since there seems to be 3 different types of vehicles to look out for. Some civilians drive pretty slow and are easy to deal with, but others drive quite a bit faster and are a little harder to predict if they will turn or not. The police tend to defy the laws of science, by driving straight off roads, through buildings and lakes. There is another game mode that forgoes having to refill the gas and focuses more on delivering the pizzas the fastest for one day. Once the day is done, the high scoreboard pops up. Then there is the ability to play 2-player with options to alternate players, with either changing out with each pizza delivered or with each day that passes. There's also a 2-player mode option for the time trial. Pizza Rush was always a fun time-wasting game that I used to play in competition with my friends. It'd be a good time waster for a few minutes until we moved on to something else out of frustration, as we hardly ever made it past week 2. It is a pretty simple game with simple graphics. It's not going to keep anyone busy for too long. I think nostalgia gets me to go back to it every now and again, but I don't think it's anything spectacular. Maybe if the game had different maps or was a little bit bigger and actually used the full grid map as shown at the bottom, and if there was more to it than just delivering one pizza at a time, then maybe it would be a little bit more interesting. Apparently, the registered version of the game would have allowed access to the full 25 squares on the map instead of just the middle 9 squares. The version I always played was the unregistered shareware version, and it seems only that version has been uploaded to the Macintosh Garden and the Macintosh repository. It is unfortunate that access to the full version may not be uploaded anytime soon. As it stands, it's an interesting look at small indie game development back in the 90s. If what you've seen or heard has interested you, and you want to check it out, there are links to download in the description. The game was played using the Mac OS 9 system in the emulator Sheepshaver for Windows 10. I will provide links to guides to help set one up. Thanks for watching. Any comments, likes, or dislikes on this video, or any of my other videos would be appreciated. By clicking these annotations, you can check out some of my other reviews. Also, if you want to get in contact with me, please message me on YouTube or Twitter.